Hi, guys. Welcome back to Liturgy with Lily. I'm Lily, and I'm so happy that you are here joining us for the seventh week in Ordinary Time. Now, this is a place where we are striving to form holy disciples, holy families, and holy vocations here within our parishes of St. Nicholas and Holy Family. So, thank you guys again for being with us. We have a big week ahead. So, it is the seventh week in Ordinary Time, but I think, like I've said almost every single week, there's nothing ordinary about this week. In fact, we're actually beginning Lent on Wednesday, so lots to cover here. We're going to dive right in with this coming Sunday, February 19th. And we are reading again from the Gospel of Matthew. We're picking right up where we left off last Sunday. So this is Matthew chapter 5, and we're reading verses 38 to 48 this week. This section is entitled Concerning Retaliation. And then the other section that will also be covered is Love for Enemies. Okay, so chapter 5, verse 38. You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, do not resist an evildoer. But if anyone strikes you on the right cheek, turn the other also. And if anyone wants to sue you and take your coat, give your cloak as well. And if anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go also the 2nd mile. Give to everyone who begs from you, and do not refuse anyone who wants to borrow from you. You have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, so that you may be children of your Father in heaven. For he makes his sun rise on the evil and on the good, and sends rain on the righteous and on the unrighteous. For if you love those who love you, what reward do you have? Do not even the tax collectors do the same? And if you greet only your brothers and sisters, what more are you doing than others? Do not even the Gentiles do the same? Be perfect, therefore, as your heavenly Father is perfect. That right there is a call to greatness. So we are called to be Christ-like this week, just like any other week, but especially the gospel is calling us out this week to be Christ-like in loving others, especially those that it might be hard to love. So yeah, I'm really excited to see Deacon Doyle is preaching here at St. Nicholas and Holy Family this coming weekend. So I am excited to hear the wisdom that he has to share on that gospel for us. So that is this coming Sunday. Yay. And then we're going to hop forward to this coming Tuesday, which is February 21st. So if you attend Mass on Tuesday, there is a memorial for St. Peter Damien, who was a bishop and then was eventually also named a doctor of the church. So St. Peter Damien was born in the year 988 and he died in the year 1072. And this man joined the Benedictines at a young age, and he took up some very rigorous fasting, and he would pray for hours on end. He was known for this. So much so that the abbot noticed, and he actually commanded that when he died, he wanted Peter Damien to be his replacement as the next abbot for this community. And so eventually, Peter became the abbot and was actually very frequently called on by the Pope himself. He would call up Peter for advice, which is like wild to think about, but this man was very, very holy and he had his priorities straight. That's for sure. So eventually the Pope made Peter Cardinal Bishop of Ostia. Also, I looked it up. It's also pronounced Ostia, depending on the person, but Ostia. Um, and then eventually, almost 800 years after his death, he was declared a doctor of the church in the year 1828. So this man was awesome. And he had a lot to do. His hands were in a lot of pies in church history. So St. Peter Damien, we are celebrating his memorial on this coming Tuesday. Additionally, this coming Tuesday is very special. It is known as under multiple names, Mardi Gras, Fat Tuesday, Shrove Tuesday, all of them celebrating the the end of this pre-Lent season and preparing us for the season of Lent. So Fat Tuesday is often known because as with that name because we are eating, the richer foods, filling up on sweets before Lent begins, and we restrict ourselves a little bit more. Um, and I thought it was really interesting. I did some research on, where is Mardi Gras celebrated predominantly, and it's actually celebrated in most countries across the world, but predominantly those that have large Roman Catholic populations. So celebrate on Tuesday, get yourself some paxis and some donuts or like whatever you want to celebrate. A lot of times what I do or what my family has done in the past is, indulge in something that you're giving up for Lent. So if you're giving up coffee or you're giving up chocolate or yeah, whatever that might look like, indulge in that on Tuesday and then you'll be good for 40 days. So that is on Tuesday. We're celebrating Mardi Gras as well, Fat Tuesday. So definitely celebrate a little bit before we enter into this season, this solemn season of Lent. So if Tuesday is Fat Tuesday, we know that Wednesday is Ash Wednesday. And so we need to focus Wednesday on praying, fasting, and almsgiving. And there are multiple Mass and service times for Ash Wednesday. It's not a holy day of obligation, but it is, of course, recommended to go to Mass on Wednesday just to really be able to fully enter into the Lenten season. So we have a Mass at St. Nicholas, 8 a.m. on Wednesday, and that will be a school Mass as well. So our kids 1st through 5th grade will be joining us at that Mass. And then there's also an after-school service where there will be like a distribution of ashes and prayer led by Father Scott at 3:10, also at St. Nicholas. So if you're a school teacher or maybe you're a high school student that has just our game in the evening, hop on over to the Ash Wednesday service at 3:10 on Wednesday. And then we are having Mass again at 5 p.m. at St. Nicholas and 7 p.m. at Holy Family. And the Holy Family Mass will be said by Father Steve Schrader. So we were grateful for him being with us because we have so many Masses that day to cover. So that is Ash Wednesday. But to help us kind of enter into that, I am also going to read the gospel for this coming Wednesday. And picks up right after our gospel from this Sunday. So we read Matthew chapter 5, verses 38 to 48 for Sunday. And then on Ash Wednesday, we are reading from Matthew chapter 6, verses 1 to 6, and then verses 16 through 18. So, concerning almsgiving, prayer, and fasting. Beware of practicing your piety before others in order to be seen by them, for when you have no reward from your Father in heaven. So whenever you give alms, do not sound a trumpet before you, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, so that they may be praised by others. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward. But when you give alms, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your alms may be done in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. And whenever you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and at the street corners, so that they can be seen by others. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward. But whenever you pray, go into your room and shut the door, and pray to your Father who is in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. And whenever you fast, do not look dismal like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces so as to show others that they are fasting. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward. But when you fast, put oil on your head and wash your face, so that your fasting may be seen not by others, but by your Father who is in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. Now, beautiful, beautiful gospel. that focuses on our 3-part Lenten journey, Lenten commitment as Catholics, which is praying, fasting, and almsgiving. All are very important. So I encourage you before this coming Wednesday, before the beginning of Lent, to really, really pray about what the Lord is calling you into regarding these 3 areas of your life. Is He calling you to give to a new mission, to give to more to the church in a certain area? Is He calling you to give of your time to help those in need in your life? How is He calling you to grow in your prayer life, in your personal relationship with Him? Is that just increasing the amount of time you're praying every day? Maybe it's changing your prayer a little bit. Definitely, that's up to you, your discretion, and the Lord. And if you have a spiritual director, talk to them. But definitely, all of these are areas that we need to be thinking of. A lot of times when we think of Lent, yes, we think of the fasting aspect for sure. But we kind of forget the prayer and the almsgiving as well. So those are all 3 of them are so important for us to fully enter in to this Lenten season. So I do have a few different ideas for you guys. Hallow, just like they had an Advent sort of like design for their app, they had like an extra program. That's the word I was looking for, program. They have an Advent program. They also have a Lenten program that is coming out, and we have multiple different things around the parish, like little signage and the QR code and all of that. But if you have the Hallow app from Advent, check out what they have going on for Lent this year, because from what I've heard, it's going to be pretty awesome. So definitely check that out. Different programs like Exodus 90 is usually started during Lent. This is a program for men, giving up a lot of like earthly things. So they take cold showers and they are fasting on like Wednesdays and Fridays and amazing things. I know there are men in our parishes that have done Exodus 90. So if you're interested, ask them. Some of them are in TMIY on Saturday mornings. So if you're interested, check out Exodus 90. I will be doing Fiat 40 this Lenten season, which is a program that is specifically designed for women going through a pretty intense Lenten season. So I'm really excited for that. And we have a women's community that is doing that in our parishes. So if you're interested, let me know, and we can you can join up in that group. Also, the Imitation of Christ, which is actually the book that they're using for the Hallow reflections, I believe, for Lent. But it's a great book about the life of Christ, and definitely would recommend that. We also there's so many different meditation guides for Lent. There's the book study going on within our parishes. So if you haven't signed up for that yet, you can probably still sneak in if you contact the parish office. But all of these amazing things are going on, so definitely take advantage of them this Lenten season, enter in fully, and just grow in relationship with the Lord. So Wednesday, big day. On Thursday, February 23rd, we have another memorial. This is Saint Polycarp, who was both a bishop and a martyr in the early church. So he was born in the year 69 and died in the year 155. Saint Polycarp was a bishop and a disciple of Saint John the Evangelist. So all of them are disciples of Jesus, but then the apostles broke apart and were preaching in different areas, different lands. Saint Polycarp was one of Saint John the Evangelist's disciples. So he was also a friend of Saint Ignatius of that time. And he was known for leading Christians in a time where the government was very opposed to Christianity. And he did not stray from Jesus's teachings and the teachings of the Catholic Church. So he was an amazing man. And his death story was pretty intense, reading about it and researching this one. He was actually supposed to be burned alive in a stadium. like they did to most Christians in the day, sadly. But the flames would actually not burn him. They tried this for a while. They wouldn't do him no harm. And so eventually he was killed by a dagger. But just this amazing man. And I don't know about you guys, but I think about early Christians and especially like the saints at the time and the martyrs, and like their faith was so strong and so beautiful. And I hope and pray that if that was our situation today, we would have, you know, we already do have some amazing saints that are living right now on this earth, but we would still have just as strong of a stance in Christianity. And like, yeah, anyways, we could talk about this for hours, but I think just the faith of the early Christian martyrs, especially, is like so empowering to live out my faith fully. And I hope that's the same for you guys. I love sharing these saint stories with you for that reason, that they can be an inspiration for us. And then one other thing that I wanted to note for this week. So that's all I have to share liturgically for this coming week. That's a lot. It's a lot. There's a lot going on. But I did want to mention that the Ottawa Knights of Columbus are holding their usual fish fry to begin this coming Friday, the 24th. That begins, I believe, at 4:30 to 7. They're serving meals. I'm not sure about the price of the meals. I could not find that. We were not given that information, but it's at the Ottawa KFC, and I know they have fish and I think clams and mac and cheese and all that good stuff. So definitely check that out on Friday if you're looking for a place to go. I also wanted to mention this coming Sunday, so I guess next Sunday, February 26th. So not this coming, the one after that. Josh Inkrott, who is a member of our parishes, will be sharing his testimony, his faith testimony with us at Forge, our youth group night. He is going to be talking about our identity as children of God, and I will be picking up from there when Josh is finished on how to take a new approach for Lent. So if you are an eighth through 12th graders, or if you have kids that are that age, please encourage them to come to our next Forge night on February 26th, because we will have an amazing speaker and some really great reflection time on what the season of Lent should be for these kids. So that is all coming up. We also have a blood drive coming up on March 9th. I will be sharing more with that in future videos, and on Facebook and Instagram and all that good stuff. But yeah, keep your eyes open for that. If you are a donor, we would love for you to sign up to donate. You can visit the Red Cross's website and just find our date on there, March 9th. From 12 to 6 p.m. We are also having a blood drive. So lots to look forward to, lots going on this 7th week in Ordinary Time. Definitely nothing ordinary about it. But I want to thank you all for joining me this week. And I wish you all a very holy, beautiful start to the Lenten season. Please know that our staff here at St. Nicholas and Holy Family are praying for you all. And we wish you a very beautiful week. Have a good one.